So those of you that know me know I love to talk investing. It doesn't matter whether or not it's real estate, stocks and bonds, or mutual funds. I find it all absolutely fascinating. The thing is, most people I know are just now becoming investing curious. And as such, I tend to get quite a few questions. So in this episode, I thought I'd go ahead and cover some basics about investing, as in different types, and explain a little bit about how they work. Hello. I'm Andrew, and this is the Dad Manual, and this is my attempt as a dad, and only a dad, to talk about the different types of investing. Full disclosure, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not a fiduciary. I'm just a dad trying to answer some questions, and doing so for your entertainment. You should do all your own research and make certain that you don't take any of this as specific advice. It's just what I do trying to explain items to my kids. So the answer actually begins with a discussion on what an investment actually is. If you looked in the dictionary for a definition, you would probably find something like an asset purchased that you hope to improve or appreciate in the future. Basically, I have three criteria when I'm looking for an investment. I'm looking for a place that I can send my money to make friends. I'm looking for that money to be usable to me in some way. And I'm looking for a place to send it for longer than 1 year as far as a term length. Those areas that I could invest in, there's only a few different styles. I could put my money in a retirement account. I could put my money into real estate. I could put my money into stocks. I could put my money into a mutual fund or an index fund. I could put my money into bonds, or I could put my money into cryptocurrencies. Some gurus will also talk about commodities and annuities. I don't recommend looking into these immediately though as a beginner. Basically, commodities is when you're trading natural resources back and forth that are consumables. Because you're trading, the length of time isn't long enough to fall into my length of time I need for an investment anyway. And an annuity is a life insurance product. Typically it's low interest bearing, and because it's life insurance, you're not even the person that gets to use the money because you're dead. The first type of investment we're going to talk about today is called a retirement account. A retirement account itself is not an asset class. It's something you use to purchase assets. Those assets could be stocks, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, index funds. There could be anything of the sort that your plan allows for. Plans are typically designated by an employer, and there are specific rules you have to follow. Sometimes they offer company matches, sometimes they don't. The key about retirement accounts, regardless of what tax structure you're talking about, is they're intended on being used for retirement. This means that you're not going to be able to withdraw them without a pre-penalty until 59 and a half or after. This is why I personally no longer invest in retirement accounts. I don't make enough money that I need money to get stashed until 59 and a half, and I would like to be able to use my finances now. They often also don't give you a lot of control over what you purchase. Employers like to keep very generic rules because fiduciaries don't want people to take unnecessary risks. This is a great, safe, and secure mindset to be in if you're looking to work at your job for 30 to 40 years. Personally though, with control, I enjoy being able to control my assets directly. The second type of investment we'll talk about today is buy and hold real estate. As an asset, it's broken down into two separate types, residential and commercial. Think of residential as being anywhere that somebody could live, and think of commercial as being anywhere that somebody would operate a business. While these lines do blur a bit, residential can be broken down into single-family homes, duplexes and triplexes, small apartment complexes, and large apartment complexes. Commercial can typically be broken down into storefronts or industrial. The next type of investment we'll talk about is stocks. Stocks can widely be broken down into three separate groups. Value stocks, which are blue chip stocks that are typically considered to be undervalued compared to what they're actually worth. Think of buying something on sale. A dividend stock, which actually pays you for owning it. That means they take the cash flow from their profits and they pay it to the investors without the investor having to sell the piece of stock. And growth stocks, which are meant to plant like a seed and continue to grow exponentially. Think of growth stocks where people want to put their money when they want to take a small amount and turn it into a large amount. Or it's in an emerging market where it's a newcomer or it's a completely new market. The next type of investment we'll talk about is a mutual fund or an index fund. Basically, with a mutual fund, you're paying somebody to pick stocks for you and then sticking it in their fund. They'll get a management fee for this. If you agree with their picks, it's fine to go ahead and use them. However, you do get less control than if you pick the stocks yourself. When it comes to an index fund, think of buying something that represents the entire stock market. So if you bought into the Dow Jones Index and you actually picked, say, ticker DIA, you're looking for something that gives you a return that's representative of the entire Dow Jones. It will take an equal weight portion of every one of the companies that exist in the Dow Jones Index. It's kind of like betting on an entire economy rather than betting on an individual stock. It mitigates quite a bit of risk, and since the stock market as a whole tends to get a pretty typical return, it's a pretty safe place to put your money. So the next asset class we're going to talk about is bonds. When you buy a bond, you're basically loaning the government money for a guaranteed return on your investment. These interest rates are actually extremely low in comparison to what you can get on the open market. The benefit, though, is they're 100% guaranteed by the government to give you back that amount of money. The last asset class we're going to talk about is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Litecoin are just digital ways to store value rather than picking a government-backed security. Once you start investigating cryptocurrencies, you're going to start to hear the word fiat quite often. Fiat literally means government controlled. It doesn't mean it has less value than a non-fiat currency, and a non-fiat currency doesn't mean it has less value than a fiat currency. Remember, all currencies just describe a transfer of value that has to be agreed upon between a buyer and a seller. The idea is to take that control away from the government, though, so that way it's independent and universal. One thing that you should always remember about currencies is that you can't eat them, you can't drink them. They're not worth anything unless somebody else agrees it's worth something. The reason that cryptocurrencies have such value, though, is that they're a digital means to transfer value. They're often very secure, and there's a finite amount, which means we can't just print more. Well, that about wraps up today's video. What I want to know, though, is what you think about investing in the comments below. Tell me about what you started out investing if you started a long time ago, or if you're just starting now, tell me about what you're thinking about getting into. And thanks for joining me today. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, please do so now. It really helps out for the YouTube algorithm. And hit the subscribe button while you're down there. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And until next time, I'm Andrew Sherman. And always remember, failure isn't bad. Failure to try and learn is. Have a good one.